We watch it rise every morning, a quiet circle of light clearing the horizon. We build our days around it. We feel it on our skin and call it warmth. We treat it like a silent, gentle guardian. But the silence is a lie, a mercy granted to us only by the vacuum of space. The sun isn't a fire. It isn't quiet. It is a continuous, roaring nuclear detonation, a leviathan of boiling plasma so massive that it contains 99% of everything in the solar system. If the space between us could carry sound, the sun would not be silent. It would be deafening, a physical, crushing roar you would feel in your ribs every second of your life. We aren't just orbiting a star. We are trapped in the blast radius of a monster. Let's begin. To understand the sun, you have to let go of the idea of a surface. There is no solid ground, no crust to stand on, just gas and plasma, crushed by its own unimaginable weight. Look at the Earth. Every ocean, every mountain, every human being who has ever lived. You could fit 1 million Earths inside the sun. It is so large that light itself, moving at 300,000 kilometers per second, takes 4.5 seconds just to cross its diameter. And we are falling toward it. Orbit isn't floating. Orbit is a state of perpetual falling. Earth is moving at 67,000 miles per hour, perpetually missing the sun just in time. We call it gravity, but at this scale, gravity is an iron tether, a leash holding us exactly 93 million miles away from a furnace that burns at 27 million degrees Fahrenheit at its core. We are kept the exact distance where water remains liquid, where atmospheres survive, where life is permitted to exist. For now. The sunlight hitting your face today is ancient. It wasn't made this morning. When those protons finally fuse in the core, they release a burst of energy. A photon is born. But it can't just leave. The interior of the sun is so dense that the photon immediately collides with another atom. It bounces. It gets absorbed and re-emitted, pushed in a random direction, over and over again. A chaotic, violent walk through a prison of boiling plasma. It takes that single photon hundreds of thousands of years just to fight its way from the core to the surface. Think about that. The light warming the Earth today is ancient history. It was forged in a younger solar system, fighting its way out of the dark, crushing interior of the star across epochs of time. It spent hundreds of thousands of years trapped inside the monster. And then, once it finally broke the surface, it took just 8 minutes to cross the silent void to reach your eyes. But light is not the only thing forged in the core. When those protons fuse, they create something else, a ghost particle, a neutrino. Unlike the photon, The neutrino has almost no mass. It does not interact with the boiling plasma. It does not bounce. It does not get trapped. The moment it is born, it shoots outward at nearly the speed of light. It takes the photon hundreds of thousands of years to escape the sun. It takes the neutrino 2 seconds. And then it crosses the void. Right now, as you listen to this, the sun is flooding the solar system with them. Hold up your hand. In the next second, roughly 100 trillion solar neutrinos will pass through your body. They are passing through the roof of your house, through the crust of the earth, through the solid iron core of the planet, and out the other side, as if the earth does not exist. You cannot feel them. You cannot see them. But they are the real-time broadcast of the nuclear furnace. The light warming your skin is ancient history, but the neutrinos passing through your bones right now were forged inside the core just 8 minutes ago. A constant, invisible flood. A reminder that you are physically connected to a continuous nuclear detonation, and you have absolutely no defense against it. Look closely at the surface of the sun, and the illusion of a smooth, glowing orb vanishes entirely. It is a boiling ocean of plasma. Convection cells the size of Texas rising from the interior, bursting violently on the surface, cooling, and sinking back down into the dark. Millions of them, a chaotic, unending churn of superheated gas. And this violence produces sound. The science is called helioseismology, the study of how the sun rings like a bell. Acoustic waves generated by the boiling surface plunge deep into the star, bend, and bounce back up. 1 billion megatons of force vibrating through the plasma, creating a rhythmic, low-frequency throbbing. The sun is screaming. The only reason we survive it is the vacuum of space. Sound requires a medium, air, water, something to travel through. Space is empty. It is a perfect cosmic silencer. If space were filled with breathable air, the sound of the sun would be deafening. It would cross the 93 million miles and hit Earth's surface as a continuous physical roar. Every second, every hour, from the moment you were born until the day you die. It would drown out the world. You wouldn't be able to hear someone talking next to you. The dawn wouldn't be a peaceful breaking of the night. It would be the arrival of a siren. The silence of space is the only thing protecting our sanity. But sound isn't the only thing the sun throws into the void. The sun is a magnetic nightmare. Its rotation is uneven. The equator spins faster than the poles. This tears and twists its magnetic field lines, winding them tighter and tighter until they reach a breaking point. And then they snap. When a magnetic field line snaps, it releases a coronal mass ejection, a CME. Billions of tons of electrically charged superheated plasma blasted out into the solar system at millions of miles per hour. A cosmic shotgun. Earth is constantly in the crosshairs. When those blasts hit us, they carry enough energy to cripple the modern world, to blind our satellites, to shatter our communications, and melt the global power grid. The only reason we are shielded from the worst of it is because Earth has its own defense, an invisible armor generated by the spinning molten iron core deep beneath our feet. Our magnetic field catches the brunt of the solar plasma, deflecting it around the planet and funneling a fraction of it to the poles. We see this violent planetary defense mechanism, and we call it beautiful. We call it the aurora borealis. But the shield is fragile. In 1859, a massive solar storm hit the Earth, the Carrington event. It overwhelmed the magnetic shield. Telegraph wires sparked and caught fire. Operators were shocked. Auroras were seen as far south as the Caribbean. In 1859, humanity ran on steam and coal. We barely noticed. If an extreme event of that magnitude hit us today, it could trigger widespread catastrophic blackouts. The electrical foundation of the modern world could be erased in a matter of hours. We are sitting next to a loaded weapon, trusting an invisible shield to hold. The sun's violence does not stop at Earth. It breathes. A constant million-mile-per-hour gale of charged particles pouring off the surface in every direction. The solar wind. It sweeps past Mars, past Jupiter, past the frozen orbits of Neptune and Pluto. It blows a massive, invisible bubble around the entire solar system, the heliosphere. For most of human history, we had no idea it was there. But this bubble is our atmosphere, the true atmosphere of our star. It pushes back against the interstellar medium, the colder, harsher radiation environment of the space between stars. The heliosphere acts as a shield, deflecting the galactic cosmic rays of dead, exploded stars from deep space. It extends roughly 11 billion miles out. That is the true edge of the sun's domain, the edge of the breath. In August 2012, Voyager 1 crossed that boundary. It left the bubble. It slipped into the silent radiation of interstellar space. When Voyager crossed the heliopause, it showed us exactly what the sun had been protecting us from. We live our entire lives inside the atmosphere of a star. A localized pocket of warmth and pressure, floating in a galaxy that is infinitely more hostile than the world we know. We are trapped inside the monster, yes. But the monster is the only thing keeping the rest of the universe out. But for all its vastness, the monster is surprisingly fragile. At its very center, the engine is running on a mathematical technicality. Forget the numbers. Think about the physical reality of the core. The entire mass of the sun, 1 million Earths worth of matter, is pressing inward all at once. It is crushing the center so violently that boiling gas is squeezed until it is heavier than solid lead. Now, take that trapped, screaming plasma and heat it to 27 million degrees Fahrenheit. Under that kind of unbearable physical stress, fuel doesn't burn slowly. It detonates. You have an ocean of volatile material squeezed to the breaking point. Nature demands a release. The entire star should go up in a single catastrophic flash, consuming itself in seconds. Instead, the engine is choking. The fuel of the sun is made of protons, but protons repel each other with a terrifying ferocity. Imagine trying to force the same ends of two powerful magnets together, but multiplied by the scale of a star. That magnetic repulsion acts like an invisible, impenetrable wall. Even at the center of the sun, the heat and pressure are not enough to force them to touch. They bounce off each other, refusing to fuse. By all the classical laws of physics, the sun is a dead machine. But physics leaves one tiny door open. A game of quantum chance. In the macroscopic world, a proton isn't exactly a solid object. It is a blur of probability. And occasionally, against astronomical odds, a proton finds itself on the other side of that magnetic wall without ever actually crossing it. It just teleports there, fused. It is a glitch in reality called quantum tunneling. And because winning this macroscopic lottery is so rare, the fusion is agonizingly slow. A cubic meter of the sun's core generates only about as much heat as a compost heap, or the body heat of a reptile. The sun is not intensely hot because its engine is efficient. It is hot because it is unfathomably huge. Billions of tons of matter burning at a crawl. A slow, grinding detonation that has lasted for 4.5 billion years, simply because the laws of probability allow a fraction of its atoms to cheat the rules. We exist on a glitch. And eventually, that glitch will run out of time, because the sun is aging, and as it ages, it burns hotter. In roughly 1 billion years, the sun will become 10% more luminous than it is today. 10% doesn't sound like much, but in the delicate balance of our orbit, it is everything. That 10% increase will push Earth past the tipping point. The oceans will begin to evaporate. The atmosphere will trap the heat, creating a runaway greenhouse effect. Long before the sun actually dies, Earth will be a baked, dead cinder. Like Venus, completely hostile to life. 1 billion years, a fraction of the time the Earth has already existed. But the true end comes later. In about 5 billion years, the sun will run out of hydrogen in its core. It will lose its balance. Gravity will crush the core inward, while the outer layers expand outward. The sun will swell into a red giant. It will grow and keep growing. It will swallow the orbit of Mercury. It will swallow the orbit of Venus. The sky of our dead Earth will be filled entirely by a wall of red plasma approaching the horizon. And then it will likely engulf Earth as well. The planet that birthed us, the oceans that held us, the ground where every human lived and died, will be vaporized, dissolved back into the star that gave it life. There will be no evidence we were ever here. The next time you walk outside and feel the warmth on your face, look up at the quiet circle of light in the sky. It is beautiful. It is patient. But it is not your friend. It is a roaring nuclear leviathan, keeping us warm in the dark until the day it finally consumes us.